free racing pigeon tips and lots of info. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, look at the links and email below. Before explaining my own special breeding method, I would like to go through the basic thoughts of the population genetics. I cannot emphasize enough that we must make these elementary principles our own. For most it means to digest some though meal. I have tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. I cannot make it more simple. It means that we must do something we don't like, study. But it is the only way for progress in our sport. Don't chicken, canary and rabbit lovers have to study a lot to be on top? It is no different in the racing pigeon sport. However, one must not just search for anchor points, but repeatedly study piece by piece the passing on cycle of the various qualities which influence the different flying capacities. Only in this way does one come on the road to success. Which then are those distinguishing marks which should interest us most when we make the breeding of champion pigeons our main objective? Those are: First group. 1. Vitality. 2. Staying power. 3. Form qualities. Second group. 1. Mordant/character. 2. Intelligence. 3. Speed. 4. Disposition for a specific distance. First group. The qualities belonging to this group are influenced by rather few genes. The degree of passing on from parents to children is small here. They are the first to react with a setback in inbreeding. However, they are remarkably improved by crossing. The so-called heterogeneity is very expressive with this breeding method. Second group. In this group are the qualities which are influenced by the collaboration of hundreds of genes. The qualities are always passed on intermediary, meaning a passing on of the average the parents bring in with the pairing. This intermediate passing on, however, is not further divided in the following generations as is the case with qualitative passing on. The quality value shifts more to the average of both parents from generation to generation with these qualities. Example: 100% with 90% equals 95%. When we pair 95% with 100% we get an average of 97.5%, figuratively speaking of course. Here inbreeding does not lead to noticeable degeneration, but in this is very important we get a heterogeneous mix working with crossing in this group. The breeding consequences are the following. The qualities out of group 1 can best be improved by sensible crossing combinations. This can be achieved by a timely import of pigeons who lend themselves easily for a crossing. As a rule, the group 2 qualities cannot be improved by a crossing. Because the qualities of this group are intermediary passed on, only a strong selection and a focused mating help us. The better both paired pigeons are in each qualities, the better will be the breeding results. Here applies the golden rule to breed the best with the best. However, the following must be remarked. When we mate pigeons with each other, it is by no means sufficient to make a simple judgment like, this pigeon is good and that one is not. When this pigeon is good, we must also know why. What are her strong and what are her weak sides? The strong side of a pigeon is not contained in her vitality but in her smartness and her character. In that case, we must put her against a partner with much vitality. However, this partner must be comparable to her own smartness and mordant. Otherwise we get more vitality but less of the other two important qualities. One must try to evaluate the properties separately and adapt the breeding plan every time a specific quality lets itself pass in especially well. So much for the theory. We are now going to a more practical explanation. The focused inbreeding. What precisely is inbreeding? By applying inbreeding, we pile up genes, good and bad, of those extra pigeons we concentrate on in the breeding. The stronger the inbreeding, the bigger the chance to breed youngsters with the same genes in their system. However, the higher the concentration, the stronger the decrease in vitality and form qualities will be. But there are also inbred pigeons with vitality. In that case one can confidently assume that such a pigeon is not so concentrated as expected in her gene type. Such a pigeon can be successfully raced. But when it comes to her breeding one may expect that she will not pass in the next generation what was expected in view of her pedigree. When a properly inbred pigeon looks degenerated, has little vitality and cannot get into form, one may expect that such a pigeon will have a difficult time flying for prizes. When we would cross her, her youngsters may be able to win top prizes again. Yet most fanciers do it wrong. The in their eyes less successful inbred pigeons are being eliminated and the specimen with the most vitality are retained. With inbreeding we want to concentrate extra genes. By incorrect selection often those pigeons are being selected for further breeding who have those valuable genes in small doses. For piling up genes means lessening of vitality. When one breeds according to such an intensive plan as I did during a few years, one could logically expect a visible regression. Until now the contrary is true. Even the eyes became more colorful and stronger pigmented with small pupils. The muscle quality did not regress and the build remained that of the old type, the cocks a bit on the big side, the hens fine boned. Conclusion. Not a trace of degeneration in visible form. The breeding value improved significantly and more was being concentrated on the Clarin 46. A happy addition was that the pigeons also kept performing well. Yet, I don't wish to make this all rosy for which matters must be carefully watched out for with the inbreeding. Group 1. Values such as vitality, staying power and form qualities gradually worsen with inbreeding. It is because there are few genes which come into play so that they first react with a regression. The conclusion I would like to make here is an important one: a well-applied crossing can achieve noticeable results after the crossing. Group 2. That inbreeding does not let other, for our sport, very important values remain untouched. However, they do not improve by a crossing. Those are intelligence, character/mordant and speed. Those values are being influenced by hundreds of genes and they are always intermediary passed on, which means that the quality value is always shifted to the average quality of both parents whether we cross or inbreed. That's why there is only one way we must and can follow: a targeted selection and mating method. What was again the primary purpose of inbreeding? The purpose is to concentrate as strongly as possible the valuable genes of an extraordinary pigeon in the first place and of an extraordinary strain in the second place. 1. How more pigeons of the population will be carrying the genes of the extra pigeon on whom is inbred. 2. When this pigeon we use as a basis was really valuable, the passing on value of the inbred pigeons is becoming still more valuable. 3. The appearance of these pigeons becomes less and less pretty. Race successes will be less as well, and when the race becomes longer and heavier their physical strength deteriorates more. Conclusion. Physical strength becomes less, but the breeding value increases. That's why inbred pigeons in the first generation are good for crossing, but less suitable for racing. That's the general trend. How much further? The qualities limiting achievement with racing pigeons are being passed on the basis of quantitative heritage, also called population genetics. This falls into two groupings. Group 1. Those which are influenced positively by crossing. The selection has no bearing here. They are also those whereby they reveal themselves as degenerated pigeons on account of narrow inbreeding. In effect, vitality, form qualities, recuperation capacity, resistance against illness, etc. Group 2. Under this fall the so-called additive qualities. Here selection counts heavy. One may not count on the effect of crossing. Inbreeding does not assert degenerative pressure. Qualities falling under this group are intelligence, character/mordant, speed and the suitability to fly specific distances. Therefore under this group are the most important qualities. Consequences. I have therefore the qualities of group 2 concentrated in my population through inbreeding. This is possible for they are determined by hundreds of genes, a crossing does not improve them, and the inbreeding hardly worsens them. The qualities of group 1 are influenced by a few genes, a crossing improves them and an inbreeding expresses itself by a clear degeneration. The only possibility to improve the racing value of the strain is crossing. Which inbred pigeons from our own population are we using for the crossing? As explained earlier, we deal with the reduction division of chromosomes with pairing. That means that 2/40 chromosomes come together with the pairing. However, after cell division, there remain no more than 40 pair. The chronological order of these 40 pair takes place like the result of a lottery. But it can happen that more of A has entered than from B. When that has happened, the young will have a strong resemblance of the parent from whom the A chromosomes came. However, because each of her brothers and sisters are being born out of another sperm and egg cell, it is easy to explain why there can be so much difference between brothers and sisters. Consequences. When we inbreed we concentrate a specific gene system. However, here we have more chance to breed pigeons with the most genes of the Clarin 46 than with crossing. We call this gene concentration, in daily life degeneration. These are pigeons who are finer and have less resistance and physical power, less vitality and are rarely getting into form. Out of these pigeons we must select our breeders. Two things must be kept in mind: they must have flexible, elastic muscles and colorful eyes with small pupils. We may race the more vital brothers and sisters. What strain do we choose for the crossing? It is known that specific strains always cross well and others not. Therefore other lofts must always be carefully studied with respect to population heritage and passing on to have the best chance to succeed. We further have two possibilities. The first is to cross in the strange strain directly. Here we can already be successful because the origin of both strains are far removed. The second possibility, to genetically increase the distance between the strains to be crossed, is inbreeding. The genetic component becomes concentrated, the variation becomes less and in so doing, We artificially increase the distance between one strain and another. The first possibility is usually difficult to follow. Only the purchase of a super racer has success here. But such a purchase cannot be done by just anybody. The second possibility, young who have been bred in relationship son X mother, or cousin X cousin, is more easy to follow and has a greater chance of success by the gene concentration that occurs. How do I do it? For the crossing, I have chosen some strains who in the past already showed several times to combine well with the De Smet Matthias pigeons. Pigeons were chosen out of these strains who could improve my population with respect to one specific quality. I chose strains suitable to comply with the pre-terminated object to fly different distances. Thus, a population was created which was able to successfully compete races from 100 to 800 kilometers. Free racing pigeon tips and lots of info. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Look at the links and email below. There are many reasons to buy my racing pigeon method. Here are some of the best reasons. You will get excellent results. It's a very simple system to use. It's affordable. I have had over 400 first prize winners. It's adaptable to any situation. You can use it with any racing method, natural, widowhood, young birds. It's a very effective method. There is no need to spend a lot of money on fancy pigeon products. It's a reliable system and it is foolproof to use. Professional athletes, race horses, take the same products. There is science behind this, not just hearsay. It is all to do with red blood cells and oxygen in the blood. Without that, a pigeon will not race well, or an athlete will not win a race. If he has low oxygen in his blood, the above is fact and is 100% science. There are a few things you can do to improve your chances of winning at racing pigeons. One of the most important things is to learn as much as you can about the sport. You'll need to know the different types of pigeons, how to train them, and how to race them. Another key factor is practice. You'll need to be able to fly your pigeons competently in order to win races. And, of course, you'll need to have the funds to invest in racing pigeons and other racing equipment. Free racing pigeon tips and lots of info. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Look at the links and email below. There are many reasons to buy my racing pigeon method. Here are some of the best reasons. You will get excellent results. It's a very simple system to use. It's affordable. I have had over 400 first prize winners. It's adaptable to any situation. You can use it with any racing method, natural, widowhood, young birds. It's a very effective method. There is no need to spend a lot of money on fancy pigeon products. It's a reliable system and it is foolproof to use. Professional athletes, race horses, take the same products. There is science behind this, not just hearsay. It is all to do with red blood cells and oxygen in the blood. Without that, a pigeon will not race well, or an athlete will not win a race. If he has low oxygen in his blood, the above is fact and is 100% science. There are a few things you can do to improve your chances of winning at racing pigeons. One of the most important things is to learn as much as you can about the sport. You'll need to know the different types of pigeons, how to train them, and how to race them. Another key factor is practice. You'll need to be able to fly your pigeons competently in order to win races. And, of course, you'll need to have the funds to invest in racing pigeons and other racing equipment. Free racing pigeon tips and lots of info. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Look at the links and email below.